I think the thing to really focus on is that no one has a permanent advantage. No one is permanently ahead.
Yeah.
So that authenticity we were talking about is really what is going to give you the advantage or the leg up. And if you're willing to level up your content, not just as a personal content creator, but as a business, if you really want to put the effort in, tomorrow, it's going to show the next week. And if you stop putting the effort in, it's going to show the next week as well. So it's the good and the bad news.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Marketing Blender Show. I'm Dacia Coffee, and we have the fabulous Hudson Labno with us today. Hudson is on our digital marketing team, but even cooler than what he does for our clients are some of the crazy things and tests that you've done for yourself, including building an audience of 100,000 people just because he wanted to see if he could. So we are talking today about what actually works on social media. This is the digital analytical guy that actually knows, and we're going to get straight into it. So Hudson, I have been so excited for you to get to share your story and kind of talk about how differently you see social media and how you see digital marketing compared to, I think, what most people are talking about out there, like the viral content and the hook, right? And instead zooming out on the full landscape. So I'm super excited.
I'm super excited too, and you're right. The number one question people love to ask is, how do we go viral? And I hate the question, but hopefully we'll be able to answer it today.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So do you want to jump into your background first, or do you want to jump into questions first?
I can jump into my background to kind of set the stage here.
I love it.
I grew my social media account covering technology news to over 100,000 followers, and along the way I made plenty of mistakes. I chased trends, I fell for gimmicks, kind of made every single mistake along the way that you can make, because how do you know the advice isn't great until you
try it? Exactly. Yep.
But I also created countless advertisements for various companies and kind of saw what worked, what didn't. And sometimes it's very unexpected, so huge learning moment there. But just understanding how that all plays into whether people appreciate the content that you're putting out, whether they make a buying decision from it, or if they're just watching it for fun.
No, and that's a great point. There's totally different goals. And so, for instance, virality, we as a firm don't need that, right? We need our niche market with really smart audience members, bringing them really relevant content, and then we pay attention to what they're wanting. So that's such a good point that you bring up. But okay, real quick, tell everybody, what was your topic?
My topic for today's episode?
No. When you were building the YouTube channel, the original.
Yeah, technology news. So I was just covering everything under the sun as far as anything interesting as far as technology, and it was great for me because I could chase trends a little bit.
Yeah.
So there is some element of that, chasing the latest and greatest thing, because I can just kind of tack on to whatever other people have built and make my commentary on it.
Yes. But the point being, though, is you love that. If I was to try to launch a channel talking about the latest in technology, no one would watch, because it's not my natural bend, right? That's just not what I am. I appreciate it. I would watch that, but I am not the one to be giving that content. But there's other things that if I niched down, people would pay attention, because it's natural to what I'm obsessed with. And then that's in alignment with what audience would follow me. So. Yeah,
and I've had to dial it a little bit back, because all I want to talk about would probably be in a 10-minute video. But I have to put it down to 30 seconds to a minute for people to actually be interested in it. So that's kind of a hard part for me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I totally want to chase that squirrel on short form versus long form. But instead, we're going to start with kind of some of the bigger questions that we hear. So you ready to dive in?
Absolutely.
All right, We're going to start with the title topic. What is actually working in social media in 2025?
Honestly, it's not about social media tactics anymore, because a lot of people are chasing the algorithm and trying to understand how that works, but the real magic is in the authentic storytelling, and that's really what the focus needs to be if you're trying to focus on social media tactics that work for your business in 2025. The people who win are the ones who know how to share their story in a way that genuinely connects with the audience. It's not about getting the most likes or the most comments, but the ones who actually connect and tell a great story. So I think there are some clever tricks we might have all seen on social media, including looping the video. I've seen so many videos where I fall for it every time.
Same.
They walk off a frame, they walk back into frame, and I've just realized that I've watched the video 4 times, and that works to go viral once. But my point being that gimmicks like that don't lead to long-term success. They might lead to short-term virality, but over time they're not going to be the thing that drives change for business, or even if you're selling a business to consumer product. You want to really build an audience. The answer starts with authentic storytelling.
And I think on the storytelling, there are formats that work, but to your point, it's authentic. Like thinking about what your style was the audience like, and then you learn your own format or your own style, and then once you see in the data that it's working, keep going. But it is always about storytelling. There is nothing effective on social media right now that is not owning a truly whole and well done story narrative.
Yeah, people crave real, relatable content. So if you show up with that, you will beat the people that are chasing algorithm hacks, quote unquote. I'm putting that in quotes because it's not a real thing. You'll beat them every single time. So that would be my advice.
I love it. Really good advice too. Okay, this one is so personal for me, and we hear this a lot. So a lot of people are saying to us like, okay, but how can you even compete in 2025? Like, it's not possible. I'm too late to the game. So how do you win and compete in social media nowadays? Like, what do you say to those people?
It's a great question, and I think it starts with acknowledging that it is harder in 2025. A lot of people will say that's not true or just to give up. But I'm kind of in the middle. I'd say it feels impossible to compete on social media today because it is harder. Because you're not just competing with bad posts or a lack thereof. Today, people's content is high quality, and there's a lot of it. Everyone is on social media, and it's also because the money's there. People are getting paid a lot of money to create content, and you'll see 4K cameras just to film a simple Instagram reel to make a stupid joke.
I know.
And it's hard to compete against. But I think the thing to really focus on is that no one has a permanent advantage. No one is permanently ahead.
Yeah.
So that authenticity we were talking about is really what is going to give you the advantage or the leg up, because I can go make 4K content all day long and make it really high quality, but the second I stop doing that, the next person gets the advantage. So I think that's the main thing to focus on, is that no one has a permanent advantage. And if you're willing to level up your content, not just as a personal content creator, but as a business, if you really want to put the effort in, tomorrow, it's going to show the next week. And if you stop putting the effort in, it's going to show the next week as well. So it's the good and the bad news.
I think that's such good news, though, is that there's always an open door. Just keep going out there, keep learning. I absolutely love that. So,
hey, Marketing Blender listeners, we have something exciting to share with you.
Our traditional YouTube show and podcast is expanding. We're going to be doing deeper dives on career, technology, innovations, and the stories behind amazing campaigns on our show.
Sometimes we have these conversations that are incredible, amazing. They've got wonderful ideas behind them, but they don't quite fit within our traditional model here on The Blender Show.
Yes, a perfect example of that is career advice. We get a lot of questions about that. We also get a lot of questions about AI and how things are changing and what to expect. And sometimes the best stuff is what we didn't say on camera. So this new evolution is where these moments get their chance to shine.
Think of this as our creative workshop, where we get to explore everything from breaking into the marketing industry to innovative leadership approaches, even interviews with CEOs, but all within the high quality insights you've come to expect from the Blender team.
And the best part, everything's self-contained. Whether it's a single episode on a very specific deep dive, or sometimes we will be even doing mini series, you'll be able to get exactly what you want, when you want, where you want it.
You'll be able to find this as a playlist on all of your favorite platforms, the same place that you already get the Marketing Blender Show.
Oh, And tip, there is going to be some subscriber only content. So little benefit for you that follow us every week.
So hit that subscribe button, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys soon.
Okay. I can't believe I'm going to ask this, but I know it is such a temptation. So we got to ask Hudson, should you buy followers if you're trying to get success in social media?
Absolutely not. Buying followers is never a good idea. Just to get that out of the way. The algorithm for social media is a black box. So even we don't know all the super specific details of what's going on underneath, and it's heavily guarded IP.
Yes.
But what we do know is generally all social platforms will test your content when you post it with a small portion of your audience. If a good portion of that audience watches it, it will push it to more, and then it keeps going down that path. If your followers are fake, there's nobody to engage. If we go and buy 10,000 followers on a channel from zero and post one piece of content, 10,000 people that don't exist, the content's not going anywhere. So even if your platform gets tricked for the moment, it's long-term going to figure out, no matter if it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, that your followers aren't real, and it won't push your content. If you're just trying to do it for the brand image up front, do whatever you need to do. But if you ever expect to get any sort of real social engagement or leads from social media, you have to ditch the idea of buying followers.
So important too, and numbers again are arbitrary, right? So at this point right now, we're roughly at 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've got about 20 on LinkedIn, and they're 100% real, right? And they're being served up to people that are similar. We get really great feedback on content and a lot of engagement. And so any growth or any amplification that we decide to do and learn is going to take off and help us achieve our business goals and also the influence we actually want to exert in the world, which is why social media exists. Like, it's social. So the buying followers drives me crazy. But yes, it doesn't matter if it's tempting. Do not buy followers. Do not buy followers.
Don't do it.
Okay, I'm so scared to ask this question because it might be so long. So what does not work in social media in 2025?
I have a list. That's a great question. The common social media tactics that don't work are buying followers, number one, or trying to hit certain metrics for no reason. They say, I want 20 likes. Let's focus on what people are liking and what we're intending them to do instead of just liking the content. Overselling and burning out your audience. If everything is a sales post, people are going to leave, or they're going to stay and stop paying attention. And after a while, all the platforms will stop promoting your content. So even if people are following you, if you post 5 sales posts a day, you're not going to come up anymore.
Nope.
Only posting static images. If you're posting an image post for the 4th of July with your company's branding on it, and you're just doing that for every holiday, it's not going to work. If that's a part of your strategy, that's great.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what we focus on here. I know Samaria does. But it's not just static images.
No.
It has to be a part of the strategy, but it can't be the entire thing. And that leads me into the idea that if you're trying to rely on anything that is lazy, like AI, or just posting static images, anything that's lazy will not push the needle as far as content. So if you're using AI to write your descriptions, or worse off, create your actual graphic posts, it's not going to work. And that's one of my big cautions is don't use AI to write your description. One of the big things you recommend is to start with your own ideas and then go from there. AI is a great way to refine it. So not to push people away from that.
But use your brain.
But use your brain.
Because AI is not going to come up with what you would have. And we're all kind of being accidentally lured or lulled into this idea that AI makes everything easier. No. It makes our brilliance more efficient. But it doesn't start it. It doesn't jump it off. And that drives me crazy. And eventually it will, like, let's pretend it actually comes up with something good. Eventually it won't. Like, eventually everything deteriorates to mediocrity. Like, and humans are going to see it. I mean, even how good the videos are getting, it's kind of a, can you spot the AI thing? Where people want to be like, fake, nope, and like our brains want to separate something authentically human from, anybody could have generated that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you can recognize it now. You'll go on social media and you'll start to see people and you recognize that their caption is AI or even their headline for their graphic they may have created themselves was generated with AI, and you can tell because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
little context clues that matter so much.
Yeah.
And that leads me into chasing virality. A lot of people think you can just post your way to virality. You can just post 8 times a day and suddenly you're viral. If they're not quality posts, then it doesn't work. If you can post 8 super viral posts a day and you don't sleep, that's great, but you probably can't. And then the last one would just be, don't try to manipulate the audience. There is a temptation a lot of times to spark anger or controversy or something like that that you know will get you virality. You can see one of those topics, you know, if you say this thing, you'll get comments, and you'll have debate in the comments, and it might make you go viral. But what is it actually doing for your brand, especially in B2B? What message are you sending to your customers?
Oh, so dangerous. Exactly. Well, and I think that's the thing. It's like, what does the audience want and need from you? And go give it to them. You know, like these shortcuts, you know, chasing virality, trying to hack an algorithm, trying to buy followers. To what end? Because the end is nothing. Like nothing. All of that attention, time, and money literally wasted for nothing. So reverse engineering. And I think in all the spaces, you know, we're constantly lecturing people, slow down to speed up, do strategy, think about your buyer personas, think about your audience, like align your values, you know, do the research in both data, you know, as well as just talking to clients and, you know, thinking about your audience. But because from an efficiency standpoint too, like, man, you need to have a plan when you get in front of the camera. You need to have a plan for, you know, anybody that's helping you with production, whether it's you or whether it's your team, to be like, okay, I know where I'm going with this. I know why I'm doing it like this. I know why we're trying this format. Because everything is just, I don't know. And guess what? You cannot sustain that kind of frustration, like, you know, and keep delivering quality on social media. So it's interesting times.
Don't create content just to create content.
No, exactly. Okay, any final things like about what you learned in your journey, kind of like more on the personal side when you were building that audience, and like what was frustrating, what was exciting, you know, that type of thing?
That's a great question. And my answer is that oftentimes what I thought would work didn't work.
Okay.
Right? I would think I would spend hours trying to post something, script it out, think of the ideas, use the right keywords, and then post it. And I got 1,000 views, maybe 2,000 views, maybe even a couple hundred views.
Yeah.
And then I would make a post that was super simple, short, and it would get millions of views. So that was always crazy to me. And I try to take that approach to data nowadays. Let the data guide me instead of thinking that I know what's going on. I would apply that advice to everyone, and fellow creator friends that I've seen apply that same advice of, what does my audience want? And starting there instead of personally, what do you want? Because there has to be a blend of both.
Yeah.
You have to want to talk about that content.
Yeah.
But you also have to know that people want to hear about the content.
Yeah. Okay. So you're extremely analytical. And so, you know, for the ones that got millions of views, like, were you using tools? Did you just have a hunch? Were there any where you were like, I just want to talk about this because this is fun to me? Like, talk a little bit about like some of the learnings and how you learned to align with the audience, or even where you got lucky.
Yeah, for me, it was actually a little bit of stepping back from the data analytics. Because I'm so analytical, I tried to read too far into it. And when I just took a step back and really, to my point earlier, tried to create something that authentically connected with the audience, like, am I saying something that if I walk down the street and I found someone who would be interested in this topic, that I'm talking normally? I'm not talking in,
I love that.
in keyword speak or trying to, you know, hack the algorithm.
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, my content almost always went viral. Or if it was just an interesting topic that I could probably talk to someone, even if they're not interested in technology about, and they would be interested. But just taking a step back from the data, having that right approach of don't not look at the data at all, but take a step back and make sure that once you've analyzed what you're going to do, that it connects with a human audience. And that's especially important in the age of AI.
I think that's really good advice. And even content planning, to just kind of calm it down and be like, would you talk about this over a cup of coffee? Like, that's so good. Okay, so did you push out content on multi-channels? What was your core? Kind of what did you learn about that deployment strategy, for lack of a better way to put it?
Yeah, I learned a lot, and some of the findings confused me because sometimes I would put a piece of content out on one platform, it would get 1 million views, and then the other it would get 100,000.
Yeah.
Now 100,000 is still a lot.
Good,
it doesn't
yeah.
normally get that. But I was so curious to figure out why it would go more viral.
It's a
on
huge gap. 10x is a
Yeah.
huge gap.
Oh, it's huge. And then some other times I would get several thousand views on one platform and then 1 million views on the other, which is such a large gap.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I would actually see content, 1 million views on YouTube, 1 million views on Instagram. So just kind of noticing that each platform has its different culture and kind of way of doing things. And to the people who are chasing algorithm hacks, there probably are some ways to do that and some things going on in the back end that we don't understand.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't look too much into it. I think people read too much into the back end of what's going on.
Yeah.
But you just have to keep posting the content. And I've done a couple pieces of content where I posted on one platform, got 1,000 views, and
Yeah.
posted on YouTube after posting on Instagram and gotten so many more views. So I would just say keep focusing on authentic content and really don't read too much into it, but keep pushing and keep an eye on the analytics to make sure that what you're doing is registering across all platforms.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're seeing one platform in particular not performing, that's probably a platform thing if everything else is working out.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like even keeping an eye on analytics is, if you don't get caught up in that they are numbers, if you remember these are human beings telling you about what they're responding to, that can keep your brain focused on how do I help them? How do I reach them? And so I actually think it's healthy making sure that you're always thinking back to like, what did the other people think about this?
Yeah.
Okay. Question we get all the time. How much time were you spending doing this? Like how long did it take? And then also how much time per week? Like talk a little bit about the time investment to do, big time social media that grew 100,000 followers.
Yeah, it was probably at least 20 hours a week. And I was
Yeah.
working different marketing jobs at that point. So I would have at least 20 or 30 hours a week to do that. I was in college at the same time. So that added a lot. It was anywhere from 20 to sometimes 30 hours a week when I had actual brand sponsorship content to create.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. And then especially if I had spent the past 3 hours filming a video and then I noticed there was something in my teeth or I said something wrong and it really bothered me, I would have to go create it all again.
Yes.
So it's so frustrating sometimes because you'll say the same line over and over again and it won't work even the 5th or 6th or 20th time.
Oh, yeah.
So not only the time commitment, but just sitting there and trying to figure out what people want and remembering that there are humans behind the numbers,
Yeah.
not getting too caught up in that.
Exactly. Now you were doing all of it though, right? You were
Yeah.
setting up, obviously your content creator and the planner.
Yeah.
You were video editing, then you posted, and you were doing all the analytics. So I want people to really understand like what it takes to be a solo content creator. So correct? Like, and am I missing any of like the roles that you have to play in order to make this happen?
No, I would brainstorm, write the script, film it, be the camera setup person, edit the video after, be the spokesperson. I'm super excited with what AI is going to do now. Maybe I can just write a script and it's me talking. But that was difficult because it's not just being a spokesperson or having a team behind you. It was doing that. And then when you have such a detailed process, it's kind of hard to remember what you're actually saying and how you're coming off. Because if I've just talked about a topic for the past 3 hours and then I walk out into the real world, I don't know what that actually looked like on the other end.
Do you know, I love what you're saying there. It's the hardest part is to watch your own content. I'm always like, I know what I said. I know I'm sad. I'm fine. Like the team will tell me if I need to not wear that color or like
The tonation of your
put my
voice
part
or-
on another
yeah.
side. Like I'm always thinking, but it's so important. Like you have to understand how you come off. But oh, that part's really hard. Totally. Okay. Any final? Oh, and then posting schedule. How frequently you're posting?
I went between different posting schedules. So I would try to post once a day, and I got super burnt out with that. My content quality went down.
Oh,
so
good
that
point.
kind of goes in my general advice of pick the balance between how much content quality you can do with the number of posts you can create. So I found my balance in about 3 to 4 a week. So I could actually go outside, take a walk, and then the next day kind of resume after I'd written the script, because it would usually be a 4 or 5 hour endeavor.
Yeah.
If I
Well,
did.
and I think your hustle quotient is maybe a little higher than the average bear. Like, I don't think most people have like, oh, I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to do it all the way, all at the same time, And so the average person also does need to be able to hear, you can do this. Like, and it doesn't, it's not only like these certain types of personalities that can make it happen. So I think that's like probably a relief for people to hear, like, to your point earlier, it's not just 8 posts a day that wins, which takes, those are big teams.
Yeah, it's not just the number of posts a day that win. And it's going to be tiring, because I think one of the things that burns people out is they get into content creation, whether it's for their business or they just want to talk about something personally.
Yeah.
And go and make a baking show. They want to
Yeah.
go bake a cake and film it.
Yeah.
How much work goes into that? Because they see the other end of it. It's like you see a movie and then you forget that it took a whole day to create 2 minutes of that movie.
Yeah.
So you have to acknowledge the work that it's going to take to create what you want. Anything that's going to go viral is not going to come easy, maybe once or twice, but to go viral consistently, to build an audience, it's really hard. It's going to get frustrating sometimes. And I think just acknowledging that up front is going to make it so much easier. Acknowledging that there will be work involved, and that being a content creator is a genuinely hard thing to do.
Yeah. It's worthy, but it's not this little side thing that people are doing 1 hour a week. I think that's really important to realize. So absolutely. It's funny. So total side note, we've got the ranch. And so of course I'm documenting for us, but there is a part in my head that I'm like, it might be interesting to show the world like where we really started, from nothing, like knowing nothing about cattle, nothing about the land, nothing. And even, like all the rehabilitation that we're doing. And it's ironic because if we do launch this channel someday, 2 years of content will only make up the first 30 days because, just to get people caught up. But there's only so much before and after where you're like, wow, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
I'm always like, wow, I need to be fortified by the time we get there if we're ever going to do it. But I'm trying to grab it just in case, because if you don't get it, and I think that's one other reminder for people is if there's any chance and there's background scenes or experiences or behind the curtain type of content, you can't go back and fake it. I have a lot of those gaps in my personal content, like different stages, different experiences I've had. And I just didn't turn the camera on, and there's nothing I can do to recreate like all of this. And I'm like, oh, okay, next. All right.
Well, I think you made a great point. People can feel effort that you put into videos, even if you put a bunch of effort in, they only feel it a little bit. You need to give them something to feel, and then lack thereof, if you didn't really try to create a piece of content, I think the audience feels that, and that's something to pay attention to.
I totally agree. I love it. All right, any final tips?
Yeah, I would just tell people to chase authenticity instead of virality, and then to look at the numbers but take a step back and realize how you're coming off, because sometimes you get too far into it and you got to give yourself a break.
So good. So good. You guys, thank you so much. I'm super excited to hear what you guys think about this episode. Both of us are. We hope you enjoyed it. And throw your questions our way. That's what we're here for. We want your voice to be heard in this world. We want you to be on the journey and to be sharing the journey that only you can share. So we hope this gave you enough specificity to create some additional momentum, and let us know if we should be following you. We'd love to see your channels in the comments as well. So onward and upward, you guys. See you next time.